So, welcome to being on a Wilson Pro Painting Podcast, Dallas.
Thanks.
And we're super grateful to have you with Wilson Pro and being on the team. And this is now your second year running a franchise.
I'm very happy to be here. Thank you.
So I look back and I remember when Tara came up to me, your wife, and said, hey, I think I might have someone that would be interested in running a Wilson Pro franchise. And I said, oh, who? And she's like, Dallas. And I'm like, really? Like, you'd be interested? And so in the beginning, I was a bit, I don't know if trepidatious is the word, because I'm like, well, she's working for us and we love her. And I don't want to.
Is this a conflict?
Is this a conflict? Yeah. And then obviously, so I kind of let it marinate a little bit with you and didn't really totally dive into sitting down with you. And then we just did it like methodically, like bit by bit when we met. And then next thing you know, you're out there running a painting business. And I think you did really well. Like, I'm looking back at your first year and you had, previous business experience. Yeah. So that helped you. And obviously there was struggles like any business and getting it started. But before we dive into that, I just maybe take me back, where you kind of came from. What sort of experience you had for getting into it, and please share. I do know that you had business experience as well.
Yeah. So as far as entrepreneurial experience, in my 20s, I was doing delivery jobs in Vancouver here, where when I lived from 1994 or 1995 until 2000. So I was an owner-operator, contracting out just delivery services along the lower mainland. And so that was kind of my first business, right? And then after that, I got into doing Bikram yoga, and I moved to California to learn how to teach it. And after that, I started teaching yoga, and then I met this British woman, and we got married and started a studio. So we were now studio owners and employers of about a dozen teachers. So we ran that business after we moved to England, and we operated that business together for about 7 or 8 years. And then I sold out of that business, and she actually, just before selling out of that business, it became a franchise. So we started talking about opening multiple locations in England, because the first location was in Brighton. But then my partner at that time, well, we had separated, but we were still business partners. She bought a building in Birmingham. So she started another studio there. And then basically it just, I decided to cash out, sold my half of the business. And I ended up living in China after that for about 2 years, just doing art and music and cultural stuff. And then I ended up moving back to Canada because my father's health was not doing so well. So after moving to Canada, I thought I might as well start another business because, I had a bunch of money saved up from the sale of my last business, and Saskatoon, where I landed, was void of any sort of hot yoga. So I decided to start a studio there, and I ran a business there for 10 years.
Oh, wow.
Operating a really successful yoga studio in downtown Saskatoon. And we had, over the course of 10 years, probably like 40 employees over the years. So I've had a lot of experience, managing people and scheduling and, doing all the bookkeeping and all that kind of stuff. And, in the operating of studios, there was lots of painting. There was lots of construction work first. When we signed the lease, there was a 5,000 square foot space that we had. So I had to help design it, for our use. And then I even helped with the framing with the carpentry, and my ex-wife and I did all the drywalling, which was the worst thing I think I've ever done. And then after all the drywalling was done, I hired a guy to come and do the mudding and taping, and then we did all the painting, right? So back then, General Paint was still around, so I was using their HP 3000, and it was amazing, good quality product. Unfortunately, it doesn't exist anymore. But that was kind of my first real, introduction to doing painting. So I don't actually paint now. I mean, with our business, I don't really touch the tools. I just I manage the crews. We hire professionals to do that stuff, right?
Yeah,
if you give me a brush,
career.
I'm going to make a mess.
So when you look back at you running the yoga studio,
Yeah.
what would you say with running a yoga studio, if you could look at it, not the yoga itself, but what would you say is the biggest, challenge when it comes to running a brick and mortar location versus now you're running staffing?
I think staffing, because the people that you hire are representatives of your company. If you have a brand, I mean, it's really important as an entrepreneur, if you have a business where people are coming to your business, or, you're serving people, right? Mm-hmm. You really have to be able to have a level of trust with the employees that you have to represent your company in a way that you want to be represented. So values, your company values have to be adhered to, and I think that's really important. That the core values of your company have to always be, forefront of everybody's behavior and attitude towards customers and things like that. It's very important.
We actually always talk about, and this is something that's not new to me. But it's something that's been reinforced, I should say, how you need to hire and fire.
Yeah.
Based on your values.
Absolutely.
And if there's people within your organization that don't meet the values, then, or any one particular value, then unfortunately they're not for your company.
Absolutely.
They're just going to pull your ship down.
100%. And a lot of people have asked me, like, oh, because you manage people, is it really difficult to fire somebody? And I always say, no way. It's actually the most. I like doing that. I like to go into a situation where I say, look, this and this and this happened. We let you know that's not okay. That's not okay with us. We have boundaries and limitations of what's acceptable. And if we'll give them a written warning first. We always do that. We'll give them a written warning saying, look, this was done by yourself, and this is not acceptable in our company. Mm-hmm. If we see this behavior again, we will let you go, Mm-hmm. And so we're fair with people. Yeah. We let them know, like, this kind of behavior is not acceptable. And then if it happens again, bye.
Yeah.
And,
see you later.
And it's, once that happens, I move on. I don't think about that person or that behavior anymore. And it doesn't infect the rest of the team. Mm-hmm. I think that one of the biggest things that I focus on in our business now is making sure the team operates well with each other, that everyone's happy and everyone are using their strengths, Some people are really excellent at spraying. Some people aren't very good at cutting, but they're good at rolling, or whatever it is, or maybe they're excellent at masking. Great. Use them for their strengths. And, someone who can't spray, you're not going to get them to spray because it's going to end up on people's cars or, on the neighbor's house.
It's not going to be consistent.
No. So you gotta, I think one of the hardest things is just keeping your team motivated, happy, I think giving them positive reinforcement really helps. Like when you go to the job site, you see them working, you're just like, wow, I love the way you're doing the masking on the windows. It looks amazing. You're doing a great job.
Right.
Things like that. It's a lot better than, hey, why are you so slow caulking all this stuff around the window? Like it should be better. Like there's a give and take there.
Way to approach it.
Yeah, absolutely.
When you look at so now you've given me your history, and so you came on running your first year as a franchise owner last year. I think if I remember correctly, you were around 650,000 in sales last year. And then what do you think your sales will be at this year, second year?
That's a good question. I think we've already eclipsed that now. So we still have September, October, November.
Well, 5 months.
4 or 5 months.
4 or 5 months, yeah.
I think we'll probably hit 900,
900
maybe. But the thing is, I don't really know what my sales are right now. I think they're around 720, 730. I don't know. Something close.
So when you look at your first year versus your second year, like, I mean, can you speak to what would you say are your first year struggles, like of being, because I mean, obviously you've had lots of business experience, but now you're in this place where it's like, okay, I'm new to running a painting business, but you're not new to managing people.
Yeah.
So that's where I know that you excel. But what would you say would be your first year struggles that you could highlight?
First year struggles were definitely learning the products, the preparation times, and just understanding what your team is capable of producing. When you get them to a job site and you anticipate 3 days for 3 people, but it ends up being 5 days with 3 people, or you've had to even add another person onto that team, just learning what the crew is capable of is a bit of a learning curve. Also, the first year we had a difficult time finding good quality employees. In the painting industry, there's always a lot of people that will apply to the job and say like, I've been doing this for 20 years. I know everything about painting and I'm really good. And, everyone has a big talk, right? But you put them on the job site, they're off smoking every 5 minutes. They're like, being messy. They're just taking too much time or whatever it is.
Right.
No one wants to do any prep. They just want to paint, So there's a lot of learning in being able to see the red flags when people start for you. That's why the first initial probationary period is very important. When you're looking at employees, you got to see how much they can produce in a day, and really kind of assess what their skill level is, no matter what they say it is. Everyone in the painting industry seems to talk a big game, but not really walk the walk. You know what I'm saying?
So you have this probationary period. Does it happen where you're like, this person just they're not cut out for it?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they're expecting a high wage and they come in and they're not performing even close to what someone I pay $5 less per hour is doing, and it's just like, hey, you're not working up to the wage that you're expecting. So we're not going to keep you on.
Right.
So, and it's pretty easy to say that, you got to be honest with these people. Just say like, look, this is what we're expecting. If you want this kind of wage, we need to see this as a production.
Right.
So, the first year was difficult finding a team that was cohesive and that got along with each other. That's, there's a lot of conflicting personalities out there, right? One thing that we have as our core values of our company is like, we're not going to be talking about politics or any sort of controversial issues while on the job site. We say to everybody like, when you get to a job site, imagine that you are being videotaped and audio taped the entire time you're there.
That's a really good piece of advice.
We had one client who's an ex-RCMP. He was away and he said, come do my deck while I'm on the fishing holiday. And we got an email from him on the first day and he's like, oh, I heard your employee talking about the process of staining the deck. And I was like, he goes, well, our video has audio recording as well. And I was like, okay. So right away, I told everybody in the team, like, everyone, just know that you might be recorded both on video and audio at any job because everyone has security now. We're doing multi-million-dollar homes.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone has security. Like, make sure that you're not talking about the client, politics, controversial issues, swearing,
Yeah.
playing loud music and disturbing any neighbors. You have to be professional. For Wilson Pro, we have these values,
It's interesting you say that because one of your clients that was a referral because we live in the same town.
Yeah.
That I'd referred to you, they actually said that having your crew there was actually therapeutic. It was just the way that your guys worked.
Oh my God.
It was not, it wasn't like typical contractors coming to the job, gruff, being, swearing. They kept to themselves. They were super quiet. They said hello when they showed up every day. They said goodbye when they left. And
kept everything tidy.
Yeah, kept everything tidy. So that was good. You talk a lot about employees, but I'd like, this is a part of why we're doing these podcasts is so that, future franchisees can look in and just, get a real story. Because I think it's natural that in your first year it's going to be a little bit more difficult.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to get easier.
Yeah. There's a learning curve.
How about clients? Did you have any difficulty with clients your first year?
I'm happy to say that only about 2% of, we did over 110 contracts last year for our first year, which is a huge amount. I feel that I kind of bit off more than I could chew in the first year, but we did produce it. So, we did get it done. So there were a couple problem clients, and I have to admit there were red flags from the beginning, and those were things that I really should have listened to my intuitions.
You're a pleaser.
This is true.
I know you. You're very generous.
Yeah.
Overly generous.
I'd admit that. Yeah.
And I think that I do remember some of the things that we've talked about with just expectation setting with clients.
Yeah.
And making sure that you get sign-offs and
I'm better at that this year. First year was definitely, I was very trusting. I'm a trusting person.
Yeah, trusting and generous, which is good. I hope that quality within you never changes.
I think it has, but I still trust. I still have a high level of trust for people, but now it's like once you cross me or betray me, that trust is gone. It's gone.
Yeah.
But I definitely, there were definitely clients that I saw some behaviors that were really concerning right from the beginning, some
from
abusive.
The quotation stage?
Yeah. There was some abusive behavior within, their personal relationships that were displayed during the estimate process. And I was like, oh, this is kind of, this is a bit of a red flag. But the price of the estimate was high. And I was like, wow, this is a good money-making opportunity. So I thought, okay, I didn't want to turn down any clients last year because I was like, this is my first year of business in the paint industry. I want to do as much business as possible, right? But I really should have thought more about quality than quantity.
Right.
And that's something that you kind of need to go through it to learn it. You can have people tell you all of these things about stay away from these kind of clients or whatever. But if you don't go through it yourself, you don't really understand why they tell you that, right? Like another thing, I find that the low priced jobs, everything under $2,000 those are the highest stress jobs, because, if you're just doing, a small amount of window trim and a door and some fascia, those people have the highest expectations and they ride you throughout the whole job, Whereas if you have a 5-figure job, someone, is getting you to do the entire house plus their garage, and it's a waterfront property and it's, a huge mansion. Those people are usually so laid back and just let you do the job. And at the end, they're just like, yep, looks great. They're the lowest stress clients that we have, are the big ticket clients.
Right.
And that's really what we were shooting for this year, was just go for larger projects. Because that's also like when you have your team, I help set up the team on the first day, and then I maintain contact with the client over the course of the job. If you're doing hundreds of little jobs, you're making more work for yourself as a manager, because you have to do the crew kits for every job, right? If you have a job that's going to last 4 days, you do less work. Like you set the crew up, the crew does the job for the 4 days.
Right.
If you have to do like a new job every day, you're hustling,
Yeah. So it sounds like economies of scale work in your favor for sure.
Absolutely.
For larger projects.
Yeah.
And so looking at now, more focusing on this year, so first year versus second year, obviously you client struggles, employee struggles.
Yeah.
Now, like, I'm sure you wouldn't say your business is necessarily a picture perfect business.
Oh, no.
There's still struggles, way less. But what is it that's awesome about your business this year?
Personally, I think it's the people, and our team has made it's made our work a lot more satisfying, just because everyone gets along really well. There's no drama between any of the workers. Everyone likes each other, and they're happy going to work. And it really makes a huge difference. You're not dealing with a bunch of issues with staffing. And that in turn creates a more positive experience for the clients, because the clients are always happy with the people that are showing up to do the work. And we've been doing some commercial jobs that end up being really profitable, because for one, we have a crew chief that has nearly half a century of experience. Like, this guy's done it all. And when it comes to large commercial projects, he is really strong at setting out a plan for the job, delegating the right employees to do the work that's needed. And we've really kept strict rules about safety. And, WorkSafe BC is always really, on commercial stuff a lot more than residential, right? So if you have a scissor lift or a boom lift on the site, everyone's got to be wearing harnesses, lanyards hooked up to the boom lift. You have to have all the paperwork on site ready to be checked by WorkSafe when they show up, all that kind of stuff. But because of that, you can charge a lot more for commercial. Not necessarily new builds, but repaints, which is what we've been kind of really trying to get, is commercial repaints. And that way, we focus on a good amount of prep, get the job done quickly, efficiently, and usually we're making between 50 and 60% on those. And those are big ticket jobs.
So when you look at marketing, first year versus second year, like, how do you get your leads?
Yeah. So the first year we did a lot of door knocking in the winter, and it did work for us really well around our neighborhood, because, I was I'm really a people person. So, when I knock on the door, I'll be like, "Hi, my name's Dallas. I'm your neighbor just down the street, and we have this company where we have professional painters, and we notice that your house is in need of a little bit of care." So that worked really well for the first stage of marketing. But then Tyler and Paint Launch started to do Facebook ads for us and Instagram ads, and that took off because we can target a specific demographic with that marketing. And Tyler at Paint Launch is really talented with doing all that kind of online targeting, marketing, and we just got incredible amounts of leads, and they were solid leads. Like, we were turning over almost 50% of them. So,
Right.
And that's way more than you can expect from online marketing.
I just need to stop you. So Tyler, if you're watching this, you need to give us 10% commission on any new clients that come your way. So
yeah, he's excellent.
He's awesome.
Check out Paint Launch.
So he's done well. So right this year, like first year cold calling, second year more meta ads.
Yeah, and referrals. A very important thing is I really strive at getting 100% satisfaction from clients. And when you do, you end up getting referrals or even callbacks. Like, so many people that we did exteriors for last year have got us to do interiors for them this year, or are booking them for, the fall. So, and friends and friends. And, we just had two really lovely families back to back a few weeks ago, two British families, both from York, Yorkshire area of England.
Oh, really? That's where my dad's from.
Yeah. Lovely people. And once we finished both of their jobs, Tara and I got them some gift certificates to the Qualicum Beach Cafe. And, and we said, "You guys got to go for dinner together," And so they sent us photos of them at the restaurant, and they were just like, "We're so happy. Thank you so much for the dinner and everything." And those people, it really is about the relationships with your clients. And I just find it's so satisfying to have somebody feel really happy after you've dealt with them, with business. And that was a huge reason that I stayed in the yoga business for a long time too, because when people come out of a class, they're always smiling and happy. And then, you see the transformation of these people, and you feel like you've really affected them in a positive way. And that's another way that I look at the painting industry. It's like, we show up and the person's house is peeling and looking like it needs some love. And then we pour a bunch of energy and time and expertise and product into their house. And it protects their investment. Two, it transforms their home into something that they can be proud of and be happy with. And the transformation of that, like the home, makes everyone feel so good. And that's one of the best things about this industry, is seeing people, so happy with where they're living and feel like they've really taken care of their home space. It's a satisfying thing.
I would say, and I would just, as I'm again familiar with just seeing you around a bit more than the other franchisees, because you're in my town.
Yeah.
But, just the feedback that I get and what you just said, as far as making people feel proud of their home.
Yeah.
But you're also you're changing people's lives, because your employees as well are providing this amazing work environment for them where they all get along.
Yeah.
And they're feeling good about what they're doing as well.
It's really spreading positivity,
So that brings me to, I'm watching your business grow organically you started off, as we said, cold calling.
Yeah.
Now it's referral based. Yes, Tyler from Meta helps, but it seems to be like, you're creating a bit of a monster because of all this. Like you're striving for excellent reviews and quality, providing a really good experience for your employees. So what's important is to now build the infrastructure so that you can keep growing your business. Because I always believe if you're not trying to grow, you're either growing or you're going backwards. You never, if you stand still, you're going to get run over. Like someone else is going to come along. So looking at your business, I mean, what's next? I mean, now we're going into year 3.
Yeah.
And is there a way that you plan on growing your business? Like, what do you see? Because I think it's just going to grow naturally again.
I think that our target for next year, I mean, we have had no problem at all booking residential repaints. It's really the meat and potatoes of our business. But I think we're really going to try to do a lot more cold calling of commercial, like for commercial businesses, bidding on things like schools and large community-based projects. Like last year, we did the Nanaimo Child Development Center, and we put a bid on that. They accepted it. We did the job, and they were ecstatic with the results, and we were able to give them a sizable donation towards their cause, right? And that ended up building a great relationship with them, where Tara ended up doing some writing work for them on the side. We kept in really good relation with the director there. Now she's having us quote the interior of that whole building too. And it's as a community hub there for children, like it's a really incredible feeling to be able to connect with like community funded projects like that really help help society as a whole, or like the community of Nanaimo. We try to keep it pretty local.
So you say, okay, so what's next? Obviously getting into the commercial world, you're going to see your sales continually increase.
Yeah.
How are you going to manage that? Because right now, you've gone from a first year to a second year, you've got one van.
Yeah.
And just from my opinion and having been in this industry for 30 years, you don't right now have the infrastructure, like as far to actually manage this. So when what goes through your head as far as what do I need to do as a business owner to make sure that we have the infrastructure to manage this?
Yeah. Well, my partner Tara and I are really, we're thinking about sustainable expansion for sure. And that comes with employees, finding people that we can, in our crew at the moment, that we can bring up to another level, right? So increasing our management sort of staff, supervisors, production management, finding areas that I can create more time to do estimates, to get new clients, and be able to delegate a lot of the stuff on the ground for production, and trying to keep our team working throughout the winter as well. We're really focusing, we're shifting our focus now to marketing, interiors, getting high quality interior jobs, like.
Right, because you want to keep them going.
Absolutely.
So they stay with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Because it's difficult being a fairly seasonal industry. Exterior painting is always, there's lots of work because the sun and the wind and the rain is always going to give painters reason to paint. But interiors, a lot of people tend to try to do it themselves, unless they have not enough time and they have got a lot of money to hire someone to come in and do their house, because interiors are usually more expensive than exteriors. So
It's understandable. There's more wall space on an interior, right?
And the thing is, you're inside a client's home. You have to really be careful who you put in there. Like you got to be able to trust your employees that they're going into these multi-million-dollar mansions, seafront homes that are, they might even have like $1 million pieces of art. You have to have people that you can really trust. You have to have a good insurance policy.
Let's talk about your process now. Like if I'm a client, what is it about your process with an interior job that's going to make that client feel comfortable? You're in the sales process, or even just like when they see you walk into the job. Like what is it that what is the level of care that you take when walking into somebody's house to paint?
First thing, eye contact, genuine connection, taking your shoes off, being respectful of their space. I like to comment on people's art because
more so like when you're painting, like
right.
Like you're walking in and painting the house. I mean, like I'm assuming like covering the furniture.
Absolutely. Yeah. Making sure that everything comes in nice and tidy and things are protected right away.
Well, like what you said, first thing, take the shoes off. Part of our systems is like, I like to say, when we walk into your house, we don't walk in with any of the equipment. We walk in with plastic first.
Yeah.
We're going to cover your furniture.
Drop sheets right away.
Mask things off, put drop sheets down.
Before any equipment comes in, there's a big drop sheet that comes down. We put everything on that drop sheet first, then start covering everything with plastic, masking, whatever, And if it's ceilings, the whole place is just covered in plastic.
It looks like a scene from Dexter.
Yeah,
that show.
exactly.
I never watched Dexter.
I didn't either.
That's just what people say. So,
yeah.
So now you're going into next year. And the one thing I was maybe searching for is, you have one van at this point. Are you in a world where you think maybe you need another one?
We're considering it. Yeah. Luckily, one of our, or a couple of our employees have trucks. So if they're at a job site and they're closing the job that day, they can load all the stuff into the truck and then bring it back to our house, right? I'm really fortunate enough to have a place where we can store all of our ladders, all of our equipment. My garage has turned into a mini paint store. Like there's all the stuff that we would ever need is in there. And it's definitely, I think running ladders around is the most time consuming thing. Like our first year, we bought a lot of ladders. So, storing those, you have to have a place to store that stuff. And you got to be able to have a vehicle that can run a 32-foot, a 40-foot ladder around if you need,
I would say that's probably another thing going from your first to your second year. Your costs are a lot lower.
Absolutely. Yeah. And our taxes will definitely go up because we don't have as many outgoings on equipment. So that's something to think about too,
Right. Have you had to buy more ladders this year?
Nope.
Not one.
Not one. Oh, actually, wait. No. This year I did buy a 40-foot ladder. Yeah.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's rated for 300 pounds. I had to load that thing myself, man, and it was hard.
I bet.
We've got this big guy, Doug, he's kind of like a Sasquatch Bigfoot guy, and he manhandles that 40 like it's nothing. Just picks it right up and
puts it.
Like, oh my God, that thing weighs
going
a lot.
up. That thing's pretty high.
Yeah, I went up. Like we did it on the first mayor of Nanaimo. His name was Bate. We did his original house in downtown Nanaimo, and we used your boom lift on most of it, but there was one area that we couldn't get the boom lift to because it was just too far for the boom to extend. So the 32 wouldn't hit it, and I looked on Marketplace, and someone was selling a 40-foot ladder for $250.
Oh wow, that's a good deal.
And it's a 300-pound rated. Like type 1, this is like, it's $1,000 ladder.
Yeah.
I went there right away, gave the guy $250 and he's like, okay, you got to load it. I was like, okay, it was already extended on the side of the highway, like roped to this big piece of scaffolding. So I had to climb up, cut the rope off, and then move this thing by myself onto my van. And because the guy wasn't there. He had his wife take the money and she just went in the house. And I was like, how am I going to do this? I had to like use this piece of scaffolding as like a fulcrum and balance it on there. And I just moved one side of the ladder onto the ladder rack. And then I was able to kind of swing the other side and hook that back on. And
that's awesome.
Man. But Doug, he just picks that thing up like
nothing, just moves it. So how many painters do you have?
I think this year we have 8. Yeah. Okay. Last year we had like 15. But I got to say, like 10 of them were just
a waste.
So
you really are just so much more efficient.
Way more efficient. Yeah.
With 8 people. Yeah. Payroll's probably less too.
Way less. Yeah.
Less.
I remember last year I would have 40 grand coming out every 2 weeks. Now the most I've ever had coming out at a payroll was 23.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, Dallas, I want to congratulate you. I think that I've seen you grow so much in the last 2 years.
Thanks.
And, I mean, just getting to know you, if you aside on the personal, you have the best stories of, top 5 people I've ever met with these crazy stories.
Get me a margarita or 2 and I'll tell you lots of stories.
Right. And you're doing, exceptionally well. And what I love about your business is it's like, some people run their business and they just want to scale. I want to do like double, triple, whatever. Yeah. But you're just sort of letting your business grow in a real healthy way. And I think that's really awesome. And you're improving your quality of life. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
Like compared to last year, you were working around the clock.
I was very stressed.
Yeah. And
first year was stressful.
This year?
Much less stress.
Much less stress. Like in half?
Maybe even like 70% less.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. This year has been so good. Like just the interactions with our staff. Everyone's smiling. Last year, it was like, I don't know, that there was definitely, good times last year and stuff, but we just had a lot of painters that were clashing personalities with each other and causing problems. But this year, there's none of that. It's everyone's really happy to be there. We're paying everyone well, so they're happy with their wage, and they're happy with the clients that we've been getting. Like working at a job site where people are happy to have you there, and it's a big thing.
That's you though in the estimate process. You're now, you don't realize this, but you're also, your clients are not as much choosing you, but you're choosing your clients.
This is true.
And that's what happens as you evolve. Like you just recognize people that you probably don't want to work for.
Oh yeah. Oh, I've fired a few clients this year.
In the estimating process.
Actually, even after they've given deposits, we've had really difficult communication with them, or they've started to be abusive or something as far as scheduling is concerned.
Yeah.
I'll just refund their deposit right away and say, look, I'm sorry, I can't move forward with this. This isn't going to work with us.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, one of them was just recently and I couldn't believe the behavior from the person. I was just like, they wanted us to redraw our contract, and they were like, or I'm not happy with the wording of your contract here. And I was like, well, and it had something to do with the extra penalty if the bill's not paid. And I was like, well, if you're going to pay your bill, there's no problem with that. And she's like, oh, I'll pay my bill. I'm like, well, then why would you need that out of the contract? Because the penalty is if you don't pay. So if you do pay, it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
So, it's a protective thing. It's like,
Well, Dallas, I think our time's up. So thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. We'll talk again soon.
Cool. Thank you.